Hello, my name is Tracy Robertson, and I will be providing you with brief details about the educational philosophy of Johann Pestalozzi. Mr. Pestalozzi was a Swiss social reformer and educator who is best known as the father of modern education. As I researched each educational thinker, Pestalozzi's theories and ideas were closely related to my own personal beliefs about educating children. Just as Pestalozzi, I believed in promoting the idea of teaching the whole child and that everyone can learn. As educators, it is our responsibility to provide the best possible environment that is conducive to learning for all children. Let's take a closer look at his educational philosophy and what was his focus. His main focus was the interests and needs of the child. He believed in a child centered rather than teacher centered approach in learning. He believed that children should facilitate their own learning. They should be active in their learning rather than passively participating in the learning experience. And he also emphasized on how things are taught as well as what is being taught. His educational influences, he wanted children to learn in a more natural way. He placed emphasis on the spontaneity and self-activity. He felt that children should be free to pursue their own interests and draw their own conclusions. He felt that students should come to their own critical thinking ideas in reference to learning. The aim was to educate, again, the whole child. He looked at to keep the equilibrium of using the hands, how you felt, and your head in when learning. The influences that he made on modern education, not only did he make influences on the educational system, but Pestalozzi also taught educational leaders such as Friedrich Vorbel, who was the founder of the kindergarten movement, and also he later influenced educational leaders and philosophers such as Johann Friedrich Herbert, John Dewey, Montessori, and Jean Piaget. His other methods of education, again, his main focus were activities should be centered on the child. Children should learn through discovery, and there should be no use of books until learning has occurred. And he believed that we should use a more expanded curriculum. Some of his most capable discipline are summarized by these instructional methods. We have emphasis on observations. Language should always be rooted in those observations of an object. Students should be given the opportunity to talk about what they're observing. We should minimize our judgment and our criticisms when students are learning, because again, students do not learn the same. We should also, in teaching, begin with the simple parts of learning and gradually move into the more difficult in the development of the child. And also allow children enough time to learn. Again, students do not learn at the same pace, and we need to give them enough time to reach mastery. Teach is not an exercise in dogmatism, but in development. We must always respect students. The chief end of elementary teaching is not to impart knowledge and talents to the learners, but to develop and increase the powers of the learner's intelligence. Knowledge and power are related. Skills results from learning the information. Love should regulate the relation between the teacher and the student, especially as to discipline. And the higher aims of education should regulate instruction. Now, the significance of Pestalozzi today, we are encouraging more classroom visits and participations from parents. We invite our community leaders and our parents into our classroom, into our buildings. We now believe in building strong communications with our community stakeholders. We are now accepting children from all backgrounds, educational backgrounds, socioeconomic status backgrounds, children. We are providing more inclusions in our classrooms, and there are special schools with students with vision impairments and hearing impairments. Schools as a whole are working on their communications with all stakeholders. And the techniques that we're using today as well, again, activities and lessons that are develop social and physical skills. Children are working in collaborative groups. They are the facilitators of their learning. Classrooms are no longer centered around the teachers, but are more centered around students. We're using more activities with hands-on materials. We're doing more nature walks. We're doing more virtual learning. We're also building more relationships, again, with not only our stakeholders, but with our students. And we're providing real world experiences. So, in conclusion, Pestalozzi's approach had a great impact on modern education. His influences and relevance to today's education system is clear. We must teach the whole child. His theory of education has continued into the 20th and 21st century, and many of his principles have been assimilated into the modern education system today.